All right, man. So here's going to be a intro to hooligan school for the blind offense, right? So we're going to get into practice mode, and we're going to basically go through coverages and how they look by default. Now, this isn't going to apply directly to people who are in baseline defenses, right? I'm just going to set my audibles how I normally have them set for spread 2x2. And these are all specific audibles in order to attack whatever coverage I see on the field. So it'll behoove you to know exactly what you're doing every single play call. Like every play call is intentional. So if you take a look at my audibles, I got a shallow cross here, I got a base, I got a four verticals. Four verticals halfback weak. That is important for how I run this specific verticals. And we got an outside zone with a read option and a wide receiver screen. So it's basically a triple option play. So we got an outside zone, we got a base, right? We have Z spot, which is a great concept versus single high zone. We have a 0-1 trap. We have a weak flood, which I use this as mesh concept, like mesh post. And then we have another inside zone wide receiver screen. All right. And over here we have this is our specialty formation, right? This is a formation that we use to beat people when they are over committing to stop one thing. All right. You can see we got a post and a whip. We got a tight end corner. We got a slant. And the slant is coming from off the ball. That is very, very key in beating man coverage. We got another RPO read screen. It's a very similar play to the other one that's in doubles wide flex. But, I have multiple just because I like to keep it, different alignments for different things. We have an outside zone here, just a stock outside zone. It's really, really good. And then we have a PA deep shot play, right? And we can do a lot of things with that deep outs because they have those default out routes that are going to break it about 15 yards, right? So the thing that we want to start out with is four verticals, right? See right here, I've called it 93 times on the right side. 93 play calls, 20 yards per play, all right? So let's call that, and we're going to come out in some nickel defenses, and I'll show you the different alignments and what you're looking for. So whenever you're playing against cover three, do you want to attack the apex or conflict defenders, right? You want to force defenders they have to either cover one thing or another, right? So we'll call cover three sky. Take a look at the alignment. As you can see right here, we got an inside shade on the corners. They're about head up on the outside receivers. We got a single high safety, right? How I like to run four verticals is I keep it four verticals, but I put the backside guy on a comeback, right? And there's the reason behind that is we're reading this from right to left. We're reading 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, and I'm going from right to left. So circle, X, triangle, or square, right? Does circle win early? If he does, throw it. If not, look to X. If X is not cleared, those that apex defender that's in front of him and the linebacker, we can throw that. If not, we move on to the third read, which is triangle. And we're looking at the same thing. Does he beat his apex defender and get up the field to the open spot? If he does, throw it. If not, we're looking to the fourth read, which is the comeback route. And the comeback route, if no one else is open, if every single vertical is covered, that comeback is open, right? Now, I don't like to throw blind reads. I like to actually see it. So if I snap the ball, like pre-snap, if I see this look, I'm automatically taking away the first read on this play. I'm automatically taking circle out because if that guy is in man-to-man coverage, he's going to carry him deep. If that guy is in a deep third, he's going to cover him deep. So then we can X out that receiver, that route, and we're reading X. Does he beat his guy inside? Does he get a free release up the seam? And does he beat the linebacker where he's not in that window to throw? So when you see single high safety, you can essentially read this X to triangle to square, right? So we've taken, just by pre-snap, we've taken that initial route out of our reads, and we're reading 2 to 3 to 4, right? The last ditch is always going to be the running back, and it's not a bad thing to dump it off to the running back and get 5 yards, right? But we know that if we can hit the seam, that's a 15, 20 yard gain. If we hit the comeback, that's a 12 to 15 yard gain. So if we take the snap, read the field here, that's a completion. But I'll go back to the replay to show you exactly what I'm looking at here. All right. So on the replay, we're reading, like I said, we're reading 2 to 3 to 4, right? So if we take a look at 2, snap of the ball, he gets redirected. So no, he does not get a free release up the seam. And is that linebacker within that window to impact this throw? He is. So we're coming off of that read, right? And if it's like that on this side of the field, it's very much so likely the same thing on this side of the field. Does this guy get a free release up the seam? He does not. He gets redirected and jammed inside to that hook curl defender. So now that he's covered, we can't make that throw, right? Now, kind of we could, but at the same time, we don't want to test that over the middle. Typically that's where user defenders are, and they're going to be lurking at picking that off, right? So we then come back to the backside here, and this guy is also on a vertical stem. He's going to break this off at about 20 yards, come back and catch the ball at 15 yards. It's actually a 17, 18-yard completion, right? So let this run at speed. Let's take all the icons off the field. Reading 2 to 3 to 4. Boom. 20-yard completion almost, right? That's versus cover 3 sky. Now, if we get into another version of single high coverage, I'm going to call 4 verticals again. We're going to call cover 3 hard flat. All right. Exact same alignment. You got the outside corners that are head up on the cornerbacks. And we're reading, again, single high safety. We're Xing out the outside receiver in this read. We know that circle is not going to get open, right? So we got our guy right here on the comeback route. We're going to read X to triangle to square, right? Free release. There you go. All right. We'll run it again. I'm going to read the left side of the field this time. Does Triangle get a free release? He does. Easy money. We'll run it one more time. 4 verticals, putting the backside guy on the comeback. 1 to 2, 3. Backside comeback route. Now, this is something that you may or may not see in game. But if you get somebody that's trying to stop your RPOs, they're trying to stop your quick game, they might come out in a cover 3 hard flat. What hard flat does is it takes those apex defenders, which is going to be our strong safety and our slot corner, and they are going to get out to the flats immediately, which leaves those seams wide ass open, right? As you can see, both inside seam routes are going to be wide ass open. And because they're taking away the hard flat, you got the comeback wide open as well, right? Now, that's not a good receiver. That receiver's maybe, I think, 79 overall. And that corner out there is pretty damn good when he's about 86. So that's why he's able to break off that, come back, and, make that tackle pretty easily. But essentially, what we got here. And in cover 3 or single high safety, right? So we'll run another version of single high versus 4 verticals, cover 1 hole, pretty common coverage, and we're running the same exact adjustments here. We're just going to put the backside guy on a comeback. We're reading 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Again, when you see single high, you can X out the 1. You start with the seam. Does the seam get a free release? And you got to answer yourself that question. Boom. That's just, incomplete pass, but, like your guy was open. You had your guy open there. And essentially, this is what the same thing happens with cover 3 match or cover 3 seam, where the apex defenders are going to carry their guys vertical, as they do here in man coverage. And then we're going to have Our left tackle giving up the goods on the left side of the screen here. But yeah, as you can see, easy money versus single high coverage. So anytime you see single high, just know that you can call 2x2 verticals out of spread and actually get work done, right? So the reason we started with 4 verticals is because it's a play that can beat just about any coverage if you know what you're looking at, right? So the other coverage that is really good against is Tampa 2. So Tampa 2 here, you see single high safety, 2 deep safeties. Cornerbacks are going to be 5 yards off the ball, and they're going to be outside shade. Meaning you can look at the let's put square on a straight streak, right? Actually, we got high route master. So if you're looking at square, you can see that that streak is literally just running straight up the field. There's no deviation. There's no outside release or anything like that. He's on a streak, right? And you can see that that cornerback is outside of that route, right? Same thing if we do it on the right side, put circle on a streak as well. That corner is on the outside of that route, meaning he is outside shade to start this play, right? Now, if we take and put this play on default right here, we want those guys to release outside for the very simple reason of we want to get outside that corner and cover 2. The apex defender here is going to be the flat defender, which is going to be that guy right over circle and the guy right over square. Now, for consistency purposes, I still put square on the comeback because you never know if this is cover 2, if this is cover 3, show 2, if this is cover 6, cover 9, or some form of quarters or match coverage, right? But at the snap of the ball, well, pre-snap, we want to look and see like, hey, can I get this honey hole shot down the sideline, right? And basically all you're waiting for is your outside release fade to release outside and hit the hole shot down the sideline for about 20 yards, right? The reason that it's wide open is going to be this inside release seam route from the tight end. Now, as you can see, his vertical stem is going to break at about 8 yards, 7 to 8 yards, and he's going to carry the deep safety. He's going to keep him inside just a bit, right? Snap the ball here, hit the honey hole shot. That's a 30-yard touchdown, the easiest money you'll ever make, right? And if we get into the replay here, go ahead and break it down, and it happens just how I said it would. We're going to read the outside, the leverage here. We're going to have our receiver run a fade, so meaning he's going to go up to this corner. He's going to outside release. No matter what, you have to get outside, right? That corner, because he's in a cloud flat or a hard flat or a soft squat, well, not specifically soft squats, but we'll get into that later. But essentially, once he passes this corner, this safety has to honor the vertical release from this tight end, right? You don't want to leave your linebacker out to dry covering one-on-one on a vertical route, right? So what that does is it leaves this guy play in the middle, play in the midpoint of both of these 2 vertical routes, but he cannot play the inside and the outside. So when we hit that honey hole shot, you can see right here, as soon as that guy passes that flat, it's going to get down the sideline. At the point he makes this catch, that is a 95 overall safety. That's the best coverage you're going to get from that deep half defender. And he is nowhere in sight to make a play on this ball, right? So we'll run it a couple more times here. Same exact setup. Snap the ball. Honey hole. Bang. Wait a little longer to throw that one just because I wanted to see if that safety would get there. He does not. It's still a touchdown. That's why we're averaging 20 yards of play on this, right? Gets outside. The tight end is going to carry the safety deep. And again, if they ever cover that and it's not open, look at our running back underneath. Look at our running back right there. All right. So we'll get into another common coverage here. Very common coverage is going to be cover 6. If we can find it here. It's not a coverage I call a lot. I've called it 8 times, but I'm also only averaging 0 yards per play on it. I don't call it a lot situationally, but, you know, it is what it is. Now, if we take a look at cover 6, and we know the rules of cover 6, we can see that the right side of the field is still cover 2. The left side is going to be cover 4. How can you tell the difference between cover 2 and cover 4? If you look at the corner outside the circle, he's in that cover 2 alignment. If you put circle on a streak, he is outside shade of that guy, right? If we put square on the streak, he is head up on that guy, right? And the corner on the right is 5 yards off the ball. That is a cover 2 tell in Madden. And the corner on the left is 7 yards, 7 to 8 yards off the ball, which is a tell for like a deeper zone, meaning that's a cover 4 quarter, that's a cover 3 third, like that. They're playing that off coverage, right? So if we call our play here, 4 verticals, we're going to put our guy on a comeback for consistency purposes. We want everything to look the same. We want our reads to stay the same. We're reading 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. Snap the ball here. And we got a little pressure right there coming out the right side. But as you can see, you get into the highlights here. This right here, this cover 6, the whole shot is not there. All right? Whole shot is not there for one specific reason. This guy in cover 6 is in a soft squat flat. He's not in a hard flat. He's not in a cloud flat. He is going to carry his route vertical because this is now match coverage, right? And this is a whole nother bag that you're getting into when you're talking about playing spot drop zone versus match zone. So right here, same exact coverage, except he's in a soft squat, so he's going to carry number 1 vertical. All right, number 1 meaning the outside receiver on this side of the field. He's going to carry him vertically. All right, as you can see right here, the inside guy, the linebacker, is going to carry the number 2 vertical because he's on a vert hook. It's going to carry him vertical. So essentially, this side of the field has turned into 2-man. All right. So if you had just, called for verticals stock and not did our adjustment on the left side of the field, you would have been stuck throwing this into coverage, right? But because we stay consistent and we got our backside here, our backside comeback, take a look at how the routes disperse here. Wow, we just got lost connection to EA. That's pretty wild. Okay. This is why I don't like playing at work, bro. Like, this is tough. Hate to see it. But we'll get back in there. But yeah, in the meantime, the reason we keep this consistent and run 4 verticals with that comeback route is for that specific reason. We want to make sure that we have an option to go to if the defense is in match coverage or they're in a defense that we are not reading pre-snap. You know what I mean? So like if they're in a base aligned team, and we can't get a good feel for what they're doing pre-snap because they're in base align and not tipping their hand, then we have to have options post snap for that, right? So we'll get back into our formation. We're not going to set the audibles and everything here. Just going to get straight back into 4 verticals. And then on defense, we're going to verify that we are on match, which it is by default in practice mode, right? So we're going to get back into cover 6. We're just going to snap the ball, run the play here. And we're going to see that circle gets carried. Actually get the completion there. Better than last time. But again, that's not an elite receiver, and it is an elite DB over there. So again, we're reading. We already went over the right side. Left side, very similar thing here. We're going to get a redirect. He's going to pass him off to the safety, which is a cover 4 inside quarter. Right? So boom. He's bracketed. He's covered there. Got the right side covered. Both guys. And then our quarter flat defender here, which is, like our apex defender. He's going to get a nice redirect. He's going to push him inside towards that safety. Right? And when he does that, he essentially is not playing the flat, which means that we don't have anybody underneath this comeback route when our guy breaks off his route, snaps it off, and the ball's already coming. We could throw that a little bit earlier, but, it is what it is. It's actually a completion, so I'll take it. But that's the timing thing that you got to get down with your quarterback and your receivers there to make this happen. Now, the one thing that I didn't go over is the running back. So we saw that it was wide open in cover 2. But right here in cover 6 or cover 4 quarters, cover 4 palms, that guy's going to get matched by that backer there, in which we can throw that out there because it's an option route. That guy is going to break wherever that linebacker isn't, which is something that we can look forward to underneath. If we don't trust the throw to the sideline, if we don't have an elite quarterback with 85, 90 medium and deep accuracy, we need to look elsewhere for high percentage throws. As you can see right here, when this running back comes up, you have to understand that your running back is going to break when it's an option route. He's going to break to the side that the linebacker or whoever's covering him isn't. So if that backer that's covering him is inside of him, he's going to break outside, right? And that's easy money. As you can see when he breaks out, that is a Pro Bowl defender in Patrick Queen. Pretty quick guy. He's going to be able to get the ball out there and make this a 12-yard, 13-yard completion. Right. So now the other thing we want to get into here, again, 4 verticals. It's our bread and butter. It's what we base our offense out of. And we're going to run it against cover 4 quarters. All right. Now, quarters is going to work very similarly to how cover 6 worked. We're going to get vertical carries from every single defender here. And our read is going to be, we're going to get to that tertiary read, which is the backside comeback. And we can look to our running back. Right at the top of the break there, that was thrown on time. That is just me knowing that it's cover 4 quarters and not wasting time everywhere else on the field. Right? We're not wasting time reading circle, reading X, reading triangle. We're not wasting time reading those guys. We're just going to go ahead and get up to the route that we know is wide ass open. And there it is. Comebacks are very, very powerful this year if your quarterback can hit the throws. Right? If your quarterback can hit the throws. Now, the last thing we're going to go over with 4 verticals, we're going to go over palms. Now, palms coverage is a little bit different than quarters. So in quarters, you have the quarter flats that are going to redirect and still look to hit the flats. But if you're facing palms, those guys are going to carry the number 2's vertical. So if we get our comeback on the field here, make our reads. And we're getting to the highlight here, getting to the replay, we're going to see that the apex defender, in which this is the apex defender, he's going to redirect. He's going to play more underneath of that route. You can see him basically buzzing under that to try to dare you to throw that before you get to the safety. All right, that's what his job is. And he's going to come down to the flat to defend that out route from that running back there. All right. Now, one thing we can also do, we can also just put our running back on a in route coming across the field. But as you can see, that linebacker has good leverage for that. All right. If we put him on a straight out route, we'll get a very similar thing here. Quick to the flat. Get a little dreidel action there. Essentially, you want to make sure that that running back is going away from that backer no matter what, right? If they take that backer and they move him to the outside or anything like that, you can change that route. But for the most part, you can trust that this option route, this option to break in or out, is going to break away from that backer at all times. And he's going to check up when it's cover 2 and that backer is just backing up into the deep middle void of the field, right? So, again, comeback route is always money versus off coverage. You can run it versus cover 1, cover 3, cover 4, and versus cover 2, you want to be looking to that front side, that play side honey hole shot, right? So I think we went over the alignment of cover 1, cover 3, cover 4, cover 6. The last coverage that you're going to see, and it's a crazy tell for Madden. I don't like how they have it in this game. But if somebody calls cover 3 cloud, I just want to show y'all what that looks like. So as you can see right here in cover 3 cloud out of nickel, it just aligns horribly. The outside third is going to align over the outside receiver, and the cloud corner is going to align just head up on that receiver. I don't like that, because what does this scream, right? This screams throw it to the tight end, right? And we're going to keep our play the same for consistency purposes. We're going to keep our play the same. As you can see right there, cover 3 cloud, you call 4 verticals whenever you see it. It's an easy 20, 30 yard gain right there. right? And that's all based on that alignment. So you don't want to see that. You don't want to, as a defense, you don't ever want to see that. But in all reality, that's just one of those like quick nuggets for you. But I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. That is 4 verticals in spread offense. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you guys learned from it. And if you did, leave a like and come back for more.